discovered you have a solid background in the private sector. You're not a career diplomat, I'm sure of that. You're from the private sector to join diplomacy. Well, what made you leave the private sector to choose diplomacy? Because I know this diplomatic thing, it's very difficult for people from the business sector to join diplomacy because our own diplomatic ways might be different from what the career diplomats think. What made you choose this field?
Well, let me first of all correct the notion that I'm from the private sector.
Okay, from the government.
I'm not from the private sector.
Okay.
But I worked in so many places.
Yes, in the government, yes, exactly.
Including private sector.
Okay.
But I started as a teacher, and I was teaching in public schools, not private schools. That's a government home.
I know.
And
so you were a teacher?
All along. I was a teacher.
My father used to be a teacher too.
I became a principal. I was a principal at one time in one of the secondary schools. Wow. And came back.
Same as my father.
I was in the government cycle. I was working, and at a level, after I graduated, I came back.
Okay.
And at a time, I was seconded to go and work in a cement company of northern Nigeria.
Okay.
Manufacturers of Sokoto cement.
Yes, in Sokoto. I think I've heard of that before.
And that was in 1989. I was candid there to take up an appointment there as a marketing manager. And that was so because that company was owned by federal government.
Yeah.
And about five or six other northern state governments, including my own state government, Zamfara State, or Sokoto State there, because then Zamfara State was not created. In 1989, I was candid to go and take up that appointment. And I was there in the cement company of northern Nigeria for 10 years. Wow. So I worked in between 1989 to 1999, and I rose up to the position of a divisional head.
Okay.
An assistant general manager.
Okay.
In charge of commercial division. And I was a member of the management committee of the company. And in 1999, that is exactly after about 10 years. So when politics, when democratic government was instituted,
reinstituted,
in
yes, exactly.
1999,
yeah.
I was called from that cement company to come and take up an appointment as a commissioner.
Okay.
So I was there from 1999 to 2003 as a commissioner of finance first. Then from finance, I was moved to works and housing. From works and housing, I was moved to budget and economic planning, and later on to water resources. But in 2003, when the election for the second term was again, I was appointed as secretary to the state government, SAG. State.
Oh, okay.
The position I was holding in between 2003 to 2007. And so you can see I have been working all along.
Yeah, exactly.
From the government,
to public sector, yes.
And in 2000, in between 2007 to 2015, I was also working in doing one thing or another, but all for the government.
For the government, yes.
All for giving a technical advice, including even a special advisor to the governor on special assignments.
Yes, exactly.
And I was holding also, at the time, I was appointed as an executive chairman of a cotton development agency.
Yeah.
The state government came up with a cotton development agency to promote the development of cotton, production, marketing, and the processing of cotton in the state. So I was put to be in charge.
So you've been in all this role,
and,
yes.
In 2015, my people also, my people around me, invited me to come and contest, for an elected position, yes. And that is into the National Assembly, the Federal House of Representatives. Yes. So I contested in 2015 and I won election and I moved to the House of Representatives to represent, my constituency.
Your constituency, yeah,
consisting of Zurmi and Shinkafi local government areas. And that took me up to 2019.
Okay.
And within that period, I was appointed as the chairman of the House Committee on Industry. So the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment was under the purview of my committee, along with its parastatals, including SON, including Bank of Industry, including ITF, including SMEDAN, including so many other parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Industry. And that job I was doing for 4 years. So, in 2019, we participated also in election. We won election. We were about to be sworn in, only to experience and to witness another court problem.
Yeah.
So the court stopped all our mandate and gave it to PDP, right from the councillorship to the government.
Okay.
That was in 2019.
19 years.
Yes. But we took faith, and we took it in good faith.
Yeah.
And that what God destined, that was the faith of the APC.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
All contested under APC, from the governorship to the House of Assembly, and that mandate, those mandates were all taken and given to PDP.
PDP, okay.
And of course, I don't want to dwell too much.
No, you don't have to.
But,
don't worry.
And in 2020, that is exactly after about 1 year, and His Excellency the President Muhammadu Buhari, after due consultation, appointed me as a non-career ambassador. And God, in His own wisdom, I was appointed to, and I was posted to Japan. So you can see, although I worked for private sector, but that does not mean that I was from private sector.
I understand. Yes. I really understand.
Yes. So all along, I have been with the government.
With the government
government and so
on. The reality is, listening to your career, should I say brief curriculum vitae, in Japan, someone who works in a company for over 2-3 years is a good person. They believe if you're looking for a new job, and if you go to another company and they ask you, how many years did you spend in the last company where you were? And you say, 1 year. You are losing that job. But from your career, look at the years, 10 years, 4 years, 5 years. You are patient. You are a teacher. I'm a son of a teacher. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, a chief of the old block. Mm-hmm. Because teachers are very resilient and patient. Their salaries are very poor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't know if it is the same everywhere in the world, but in that part of Africa, or Nigeria in particular, teacher salaries are very, very poor. But they are fervent teaching children. So from teaching, you start rising from ranks to this level. Mm-hmm. I say hearty congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes, to be honest. As a son of a teacher, I know what teachers understand and what teachers do. My mother is a teacher, my father used to be a teacher, a headmaster, special class actually. Mm-hmm. Nobody believes son of teachers in Africa can rise to a certain level. But look at we, and look at you as a teacher. Most of the people...
I was a trained teacher.
Yes, my father is a trained teacher too, yes.
I started with Advanced Teachers College.
I know.
I graduated with my NCE.
Yeah, I know. I understand how you started there.
Even the undergraduate study I did at Ahmadu Bello University.
University, yes.
In marketing management, it is a Bachelor of Business Education. So I was a trained teacher, and that was why I was appointed as a principal of a secondary school.
Yes.
But somehow, somewhere, I crossed over to administration, I crossed over to politics, I crossed over to diplomacy now.
Ambition depth must be paid. Yeah. I don't want to push more further, whether you're a businessman or a career diplomat or not, but your career is really wonderful. Yeah. Let me not take more time there. You have succeeded in visiting many captains of industries, and even government, agency leaders within the short space of time of your tour of duty. How were you able to create these contacts and start flowing so freely like this?
You see, right from the time of our induction, from the time when we were appointed as ambassadors, we were given the charter. We were given a charter, meaning to say, what we are necessarily going to emphasize, what we are necessarily going to do in order to achieve
your goals,
the mandate expected of us. So keeping in mind the content of the charter of Nigeria-Japan relations, when I arrived here in June, I made it a duty and I made it as my aspiration first to see that the type of bilateral relations in all ramifications, economic, trade, investment, that I met, on ground between Japan and Nigeria.
Nigeria, yes.
I will aspire to move it to a higher level, to a more desired level. From the level I met it to a level, to a level that everybody will say is more desired. So within that context, I made it a duty, knowing fully that Japan is a highly industrialized country, and Japan has a lot of advantage in terms of technology.
Exactly.
Technology in all aspects, So I made it a duty, and I drew up an aspiration, keeping in mind the content of the charter, that we should benefit from this higher richness in technology and the higher richness in industrialization of Japan. And therefore, Japan has already gone very far. It has exalted in automotive. It has exalted in
cotton edge technology.
It has exalted in textile. It has exalted in so many
areas.
Many areas. ICT, semiconductors,
yes,
and the rest of them. So after I presented my letters of credence, both the copy, the usage, and the original copy to His Majesty, then I began to reach out, to chief executives and leadership of various corporations and various companies, of course, including government platforms that are so critical, so strategic for the realization of my aspiration. And that is the JETRO and the JICA.
The JICA, yes.
JETRO is a Japanese external trade organization.
Yes.
They regulate and coordinate, trade and investment across the world.
Between Japan and
those countries. And Nigeria has a long-standing relations as far as trade is concerned.
Yeah.
They established their first African office in Nigeria, and that is the JETRO office in Lagos.
Yes, I read that during your comment on independence.
Yes, established in 1955. Yes, and so I visited the leadership of JETRO. The president himself, granted audience to me, together with all his divisional heads, and we held a series of discussions. Of course, I made it for him to know that I also visited the office in Lagos before I even reported for duty here.
Okay.
That was just to give me an insight about what...
You made a good research before coming,
what JETRO is, what are they to do, and so on. And I also visited the leadership of JICA. The chief executive of JICA, together with all his divisional heads, we held a series of discussions with them. First, to appreciate what they have been doing in Nigeria, and to further explore other areas of cooperation, both technical and otherwise. And I think we have come to agreement, to understanding that we should move our bilateral relationship in terms of cooperation, technical and the rest of it, from where it is now to a higher level.
Yeah.
So I crave the indulgence that we want us to consolidate. We want us to look for other areas. In as much as they are in humanitarian services, they are in enhancement and the realization of State Millennium Goals. And we now want to broaden up. And I'm happy to note that they have also established that kind of diversification. They are now into trying to see what can they do in the area of agriculture, in the area of microprocessing equipment, for rice,
tomatoes,
and the rest of them.
Packaging
so
systems.
We have discussed duly with them. And beside that, I also visited a number of other companies, particularly the automotive companies. I visited Toyota, the chief executive of Toyota, and all his sectional and departmental heads, including even those who are responsible for Africa.
Yeah.
And some of them were even asked to fly, to fly back to Japan so that they can participate in that
meeting. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
So it was a serious meeting with the leadership, and as you are aware, Toyota is an important automotive company.
Seriously, yes.
And they have been in
Japan,
Nigeria for so many years, and emphasizing what they are currently doing is assembling of Toyota vehicles and production of some fabrication of some basic components of automotive. But realizing the fact that Nigeria is also consciously working with a sustainable and efficient plan to move our automotive industry, from where it is to a higher level.
A higher level, yes.
So we want to see a situation where we produce made in Nigeria cars,
yes.
Made in Nigeria trucks, and we produce and fabricate all major and
that will create more jobs.
That will create more jobs. So that our discussion,
instead of importing already made ones from overseas.
That discussion featured along those lines between me and the leadership of
Toyota. Okay, good.
And I also paid a visit to Honda Corporation.
Honda Corporation,
yes. We held similar discussion that we held with Toyota. First of all, I unveiled to them the automotive master plan that the country is now implementing.
Willing to embrace or implement
2013 to 2023.
Okay.
And I gave them all the basic components of the plan, and I created their indulgence to now increase, their portfolio investment in Nigeria, and to move away from importation of completely assembled, completely manufactured motorcycles, completely manufactured cars, and so on. But instead, to
build them in Nigeria, manufacture them in Nigeria, plants and manufacture in Nigeria,
factories in Nigeria, so that we can be able to benefit from the richness of Japan in terms of automotive. We can take advantage of the transfer of technology from Japan to Nigeria. So that is in the area of automotive.
Yes.
But as you are aware, currently Nigeria is pursuing, digitalization of the economy in all ramifications. To the effect that a Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy has been established in 2019.
Oh, really?
Yes. And currently, a conscious master plan of digitalizing the economy and all ramifications is currently being pursued.
We would love to see such master plan, to be honest.
Under the purview of the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy.
Digital economy, yeah.
Yes. So the summary of it is that we want to improve. We want to achieve efficiency in way of doing business.
Yes.
We want to achieve efficiency in way of doing governance. We want to eliminate and remove wastages. We want to reiterate the fact that we follow suit with globalization. Many countries, advanced countries, they're able to grow advanced because they have developed their economy along the path of digitalization.
Exactly.
And that is what Nigeria is currently pursuing. So I took a visit to NEC Corporation. NEC Corporation is an important corporation.
Yeah.
It's a multinational company with headquarters here in Japan.
Yes.
But subsidiary companies
We call it NEC. Is that NEC?
NEC.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes. NEC Corporation.
I know.
With subsidiaries and the branches all over the world, throughout the countries in the world, including Nigeria.
They are
so
big
because they are producers and manufacturers of semiconductors.
Yeah.
They are producers and manufacturers, original manufacturers of ICT components.
Yes.
And they are also into lots of production of security equipment for surveillance, for recognition, in order to eliminate or to deal with
computers and everything.
Terrorism and insurgency.
Yes,
they are very good in
systematic tracking and
stuff like that. Equipment.
Yeah.
So I took a visit to them.
Okay.
And we held discussion with their key staff, including even those who are in charge of Africa. And I can remember one of the persons we met with in charge of Africa was asked to leave South Africa and start coming to Japan so that he can participate
in the meeting.
Yeah. So, and we are now trying to establish a partnership between NEC and the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy
in Nigeria.
So that, because we see them as potential
global giant in technology,
company that can facilitate and can fast track our realization of our aspiration of digitalizing the Nigerian economy.
Yeah.
So we are following this, logically, to see that that partnership exists between Nigeria and NEC. And I visited also several other companies, chief executives of recycling companies, including that of NATCO, for which we're just coming back from the company now.
Yeah.
And we visited one other company again into recycling.
Yeah.
And these are things that we currently need in Nigeria. And permit me to say that these are some of the things which keep the environment of Japan very clean.
Yes.
Recycling.
Very important.
There is no wastage here in Japan.
No.
Everything you see, including tires, including cars, including refrigerators, air conditioners, everything in terms of whatever it is, including even plastic materials.
Everything.
You hardly see anything on the street
Nowhere.
as wastage. So today, I have been able to confirm that yes, the secret behind it is recycling.
Recycling, yes.
And this is one thing that Nigeria is not giving attention to. We throw garbage, we litter everywhere, we throw wastages everywhere, we keep heaps of garbage everywhere, not knowing what we are going to do with it. Visit our government establishments, you see a lot of dead cars.
Yes.
A lot of
refrigerators that
everywhere, are not working, abandoned, and so on. We don't know that these things can be recycled. I have seen it today.
Yes, sir.
Every part of a dead car, it can be made to be usable.
Exactly.
Useful.
We tracked every raw material in them.
Everything out of it can be useful.
And incinerate to generate electricity, yes.
Including the copper in it, including the other metals in it. Everything about a car can be taken out of it and then recycled. So, we are in the process of opening discussion with chief executives of recycling companies with a view to see how can they partner with local investors in Nigeria for the establishment of recycling companies.
Yes.
So that the raw material is there and the market is also there.
Huge market.
Huge market, So, indeed, I have been visiting so many chief executives of companies, but the idea is to keep track of these companies and see how many of them can we be able to woo to increase their volume of business if they are already in Nigeria, or if they are not there in Nigeria, to get them to get interest.
Yeah.
In establishing businesses in Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. I'm keenly interested to hear that you have great interest and you have discovered the importance of recycling today by visiting 3 companies in Japan, in Saitama Ken. One of them is my company, Nafken Associates PLC, Japan. And then you went further to visit a ferrous metal recycling company.
Yes.
Sakairi Shoten.
In my presence, a dead car.
A dead car was compressed
in 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes.
Everything about it was compressed. So and from there it is going to be
processed immediately.
Any bit of copper in it will be
everything,
extracted.
Even glass will be
even
recycled.
Glass of it will be recycled.
Yes, and the things that we don't need, we now incinerate them to generate electricity. That company's name is Sakairi Shoten, the director that welcomed you today.
Yes.
And then we'll move further to move for you to see another company, a non-ferrous metal recycling company, where even all the buildings that we demolish, every cable,
including
high rods and everything will be recycled. And that one is Koshigaya Metal. They welcomed you well. They promised to collaborate. The manager of that company, the director general of the company, in his speech said he has experience. And he has agreed to your request of opening up a dialogue. I mean, a kind of a system that will enable to negotiate on how they can establish such company. And your speech to him was so scholarly that it is a cooperative thing. I mean, not only them bringing money, but other people will still invest in Nigeria and make sure you join JICA, JETRO into the system so that they will be very assured of the whole thing. So your trip today, I say, is a very eye-opening one and a very successful one. And since I'm involved too, I will do whatever it takes to support your move.
Thank you very much.
To make sure the recycling system is established in Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The few questions we have till the end of the question is, you inherited, let me use the word, you inherited being the ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria during the Olympics.
Yeah.
And we had our contingents here. What's your overall view of our performance? Brief, just your overall view of the Nigerian Olympians' performance.
First and foremost, Nigeria came to Japan for Japan Olympics 2020 in a very big way.
Yeah.
In a big way, if you take into consideration the contingents, the athletes, a large number, and the number of events that we participated, Nigeria participated in a very big way.
Yeah.
I personally paid a visit to them at their camping site in Kisarazu, and I interacted with them. I saw them in higher spirit. And later on, the Honorable Minister joined together with the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. So together with them, we have been following the events closely and we have been monitoring. And at the end of it, Nigeria came victorious in the sense that our contingents did not just go back empty-handed. They participated in about 9 events, and at the end of it, they won two medals. One silver and 1 bronze.
Yeah.
But what is important is that we came as one of about 53 or 54 African countries. And over 200 other countries also participated.
Yes.
And many of the African countries, many of the other world countries, they went back empty-handed, without any medal.
Yeah.
But the fact that Nigeria's name was inscribed on the medal table,
and our national flag risen above others, yes.
The fact that the Nigeria's national anthem was sung
at
the particular events where we exulted, that was a huge success as Nigeria is concerned.
Yes.
And that was why we hosted them, to a reception at the embassy. They came to the embassy together with the Honorable Minister, and indeed, even including the president of Nigeria Olympic Organization, who happened to be coincidentally a member of the International Olympic Organization, Engineer Abubakar. Yeah. They were all there at the embassy. We celebrated the medalists and we held a reception for them, and we delivered speeches appreciating them on behalf of 200 million Nigerians.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to be part of that process. I'm proud to be part of the events, and of course we have some things that are very challenging to us. Many of our athletes were disqualified for one reason or another. But the fact that we came up with name, the contingents came up with, to make Nigeria proud.
Yeah.
I feel so good.
Yes, sir.
And secondly, thereafter, the Paralympics also was held.
Yeah.
I also visited them at their camping site.
Yeah.
They came, and they came a large number. And I charged them when I was addressing them that I expected from them nothing from what they used to. They used to get about 4 medals, all in all.
Yeah.
Any Paralympic event, including the one before the one they held here.
Okay.
They secured 4 medals. So I charged them, I was expecting at
More.
least those. And they promised that they were going to secure more than that.
And they did.
And I was happy at the end of the Paralympics, about 10 medals.
Wow.
About 10 medals were secured. So Nigerian contingents, Nigerian Olympics, Paralympics, they did proud for Nigeria. We are proud to be part of that process. And I personally, as the Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria here in Japan, I am proud to be part of that process. I felt so good, I felt so happy that the name of Nigeria was
well represented, yes.
Well represented. And I'm so happy about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our question before the last question. What's your plan on how to market Nigeria? Of course, you've hinted them on a private note, actually, in separate places. But do you have any plan of kind of a business forum or bringing Nigeria delegations to Japan to interact with their Japanese counterparts in the private sector of Japan? If any plan for that next year?
Well, you see, the relationship between Nigeria and Japan has been a bilateral one.
Yeah.
In the economy, in trade, and investment. And like I told you right from the beginning, it's part of my aspiration to move the trade volume between Nigeria and Japan to a higher level, a more desired level, and to increase the quantum of investment of Japan into Nigeria in all ramifications,
exactly,
including portfolio investment.
Yeah.
And also to make sure that the type of cordial relationship, bilateral diplomacy that we enjoy between Japan and Nigeria, we keep it consistent.
Yes.
We move it from where it used to be to a higher level.
Yeah.
Nigeria and Japan have been bilateral partners since 1960.
Yeah.
So you can imagine after about 6 decades of relationship,
and it's still growing.
You can imagine the extent to which, and we are still growing.
Exactly.
And we are still keeping ourselves together. We have benefited a lot from, multinational interventions coming from Japan and coming from Nigeria. Of recent, Japan secured the Director General seat of International Postal Union.
Yeah, Nigeria supported
Nigeria supported that venture.
Yeah.
We not only supported, but we went extra mile to seek the buy-in of other countries that we can speak to.
Yeah.
And we're happy to see that at the end of it,
exactly,
the candidate fielded by Japan emerged successful.
Good.
And even before that, Japan also, supported Nigeria when we failed a candidate
WTO, World Trade Organization. Yes,
World Trade Organization. So we had been having that, and we
robust diplomatic relation.
Look forward. Yes. To deepen it,
exactly,
to strengthen it, and to take it to a higher level.
A higher level.
Yeah, that is what.
Thank you very much, sir.
Forward to.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your coming today, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to Japan, Ambassador Moriki. I always refer to you as Moriki, as I have explained that name to you before. Husaini Abubakar Moriki. Thank you really very much for honoring the invitation of NAV Connects for Africa and the world to speak to the world from the diplomatic chair, because we are the private sector. And all we can do is to protect, defend the honor and glory of our country at the private sector, while you represent us at the diplomatic chair. When we put this together, we break the mountains. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.